astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Friday, August 18th, 2017. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much to all of you for each of your comments and your messages of support and things like that. It really means a lot to me. Sometimes I don't know what I did to like deserve your kindness, but I love it and I appreciate it, and thank you for hanging in there with me. Last night, and like the past few days, I've been trying to get a lot of sleep. I've been like super exhausted and just not feeling well, so I went to sleep. I had like my heating pad on me, I took a shower, I have my crystals. I know that's kind of weird. I have my clear quartz right here, and it just really helped me, and I'm feeling a little bit better this morning. Plus, it's Friday, so the weekend is gonna be here very soon, and hopefully that will help me kind of get myself together and figure some stuff out, okay? So I really do appreciate that. You know, it's been like such a weird thing with these eclipses happening, where I legit feel like all of like the stuff, all of like the junk from the past 8 months of the year since January is like coming back to me now to like deal with and to figure out and to put behind kind of in some way. You know, I kind of want to think of it as like a car that all of a sudden comes like screeching to a stop, and then you've got like the backpacks in the back of your car and like whatever else you've got like hanging out in the seat, like slamming up against your own seat and coming forward in the front. And I feel like that's kind of what it is now. We had the lunar eclipse, things were coming to a stop, and then all of a sudden like all the junk kind of comes forward that you've been waiting to happen, kind of like hits the back of your seat for you to then figure out how to deal with and that kind of thing, so that you can change directions or slow down and like, you know, just do what you do when you drive. And so I think that yeah, that's just kind of the feeling that I have now. And it's super weird because the eclipse is actually in great aspect to a bunch of my planets, like Gemini, Sagittarius. Like there are a lot of good things going on there, but Saturn is hanging out now with especially with a lot of my stuff going on, being in my Saturn return at 29 years old. But I think that's making it a little bit harder than I would like, plus kind of dealing with all of this kind of stuff. So that's what I got going on there, and thank you for hanging in there with me, okay? Let me see if there's anything I wanted to mention before I dive in. All right, I think that's it. Now what we've got going on, I'm gonna go back to Thursday, is I think on Thursday we had to make some hard choices, perhaps, and some hard decisions that we didn't wanna make, you know, about what we wanted, what we emotionally were interested in or excited about, and versus like what we needed to do, and some journey we need to go on, and some other commitment we need to make, okay? I think on Thursday, there could have been some hard feelings that we were coming off of, especially on Wednesday, that had been building up, where we were feeling like we couldn't be emotionally free to express ourselves, some really heavy emotions or some obstacles and things that kept coming up, preventing us from feeling the way that we wanted to feel. And so I think there was a lot of that happening on Thursday. I think we wanted to make sense of things. We wanted to move forward, but it wasn't in a way that was like super easy or fun or lighthearted. I think we're thinking very seriously and very deeply and feeling a little frustrated and blocked as we're moving forward, okay? I think we're trying to open up some opportunities to us. I think these obstacles that were coming to us are meant to help us move forward in a better way. You know, it's not gonna feel good in the process, so we're gonna have to make some decisions we don't wanna make, okay? That was definitely yesterday. On top of that, we had the moon square Chiron, so we were not feeling that good. We just weren't feeling good, you know, especially not when Chiron's involved and not in a square, which is a hard aspect to just like more hard things coming up, okay? Now, you know, Chiron's a hard thing because the moon is always going to make like a few squares to Chiron a month, okay? Because the moon's always going to be around in this spot, but it's just unfortunate that, of course, it happens again in between eclipses, bringing up some more of these same old issues that we've been trying to deal with and break through, okay? I think we're trying to get insights and that kind of thing. I think we're trying to explore some of our options, but then when we get to the end of yesterday, the moon moves into Cancer, and instead of us kind of seeing things from all different perspectives and trying to think about things logically, I think we realize we have to take the emotional perspective, and we have to go inside a little bit and figure out what it is that we need to do to bring more of this stability that we've been hoping for, that we've had trouble doing, you know, because of all these other obstacles and things that have been coming our way, you know, especially after we may have received some confusing news earlier in the week. All right, so I think that's kind of what's happening. All right, we come into today feeling a little bit better, feeling like it's a little bit easier for us to communicate, especially about some spiritual things or some things going on inside us. I think we've got that going for us as well. But then we come into about 3 p.m. Mountain Time, a hard thing where we have the moon in an opposition with Pluto, okay, and it's about to square Jupiter, and that's where Venus was earlier in the week, causing all the problems. So it's like all of this stuff that we had to hash out in the beginning of the week that I talked about in my video, some choices that we had to make between what we want to feel comfortable and how we build our life, okay? I think a lot of our struggles now is like, how do we build roots to support the tree that we're building? And I think we come up to that situation again with the moon here, trying to make sure that we're making all the right decisions, that we're doing what we need to do while Mercury is going retrograde. And I think we're feeling that again today. And I think if we're not feeling like we're moving in the right direction and doing what needs to be done, there could be some big hard feelings that come up that are very challenging for us, all right? So I think that is something that can happen. It can also bring up some good things as well if you feel like you are moving on the right track, but it's just a matter of, you know, what else is going on in your life, how you feel about where it is, whether or not it'll manifest negatively or positively, okay? And when you get moon opposite Pluto, there's kind of some big intense feelings that can come up that you go back and forth between, you know, feeling comfortable with the moon in Cancer versus feeling crazy and out there and not knowing what's going on. And I think you need to watch your emotions today to make sure that they're okay and that you can understand everything that has happened. The moon is also going to square Jupiter, like I mentioned as well. So also going to be a little bit difficult for you to understand your feelings, to feel good and to feel happy, you know, still trying to make some hard decisions about some commitments that you have and where your life is going, especially about relationships and things like that, you know, that you're going to have to figure out, okay? While that's going on, the moon is going to conjunct Venus, so there's a lot about your values you're thinking about, what's important to you, and what's happening there that's going to require us to reorient ourselves to our life, to some commitments that we're making and where some things are going, all right? And I think once we deal with this hard stuff, with these big feelings, figure out what's going on, you know, and what we need to do and what commitments we need to make, I think then it's going to be a lot easier for us at the very, very end of today to move forward once again, overcome some old things and not get so stuck in all of these things that are hurtful to us, okay? So that's really what I see. We still have good things coming, okay, with Jupiter in a sextile with Saturn, Mars in a trine with Saturn as well, Sun trine Uranus. All these things are not there yet. They're moving on, they're inching closer and closer and closer, but we still do have a lot of good things. It's like, even if things are hard, I think there are good things coming, but it's just clearing out the junk, you know, from the car, slamming to a stop, you know, it's like now we have to reset, you know, now we have to do things in a different way, in a different direction than what it is that we have been doing. And I think sometimes that is what is the hard thing coming on here. Okay, now your card, I actually pulled a card for yesterday. I filmed yesterday's video and then I just never posted it. I just wasn't feeling quite right, so I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna talk about that card today. And I think what this card is about, which is the Six of Pentacles here, is about rearranging your resources in some way, you know, to restore the balance. That's especially a big thing that comes up when you have Venus in an opposition with Pluto, Moon in an opposition with Pluto. Oppositions to me indicate balance, okay? Especially the square to Jupiter as well, having to make some hard decisions. And so I think you need to do what you need to do today to make sure that you're getting what you need and other parts of your life have all the things that are good for them, okay? This to me is the card of giving and receiving. And when you get this card reversed, it means that there's some problem with giving and receiving. Either you're giving too much and not getting anything in return, okay, or you're getting more than you deserve, and you need to figure out, how do I restore the balance, okay, to make sure that everything works together, all right? I don't want to be political about this, and I don't want to be super socialist either, but to me this is the card of socialism. How can you redistribute the wealth of your life, okay, to work better and have all the parts of your life work together? You know, it's like, don't withhold one thing from one part of your life just because of some ideological issue. You need to make sure that everything is in balance so that you can have everything in functioning order so that you can move forward, okay? So that's what's going on there. Now your card, I actually did not draw it yet, but your card for today, since that was more so yesterday, but I can see it coming in a little bit today with Moon here in the same opposition that Venus and Pluto was in. Okay, so what do we have here? All right, we've got that one for today. I'm gonna get this hair right here. All right, so the card for today is the Queen of Cups reversed. All right, so this card to me is one where it says, don't let your emotions get the best of you, okay? I think you can today, not just your emotions, but other people's emotions, something that's a little bit not right inside you, okay? Cups to me also rules Cancer, water signs, the moon, all right? Be careful with your emotions today to not let them get too out of control and too out of hand, all right? To make sure to pay attention to yourself, to nurture yourself if you need to be nurtured, okay? And to pay attention to what's happening inside, because I find that when I don't pay attention to my emotions, that's when they come out the most in the wrong ways that make things worse for me, okay? So I think that is the message there for you. Now, before I go, I just wanted to talk about one last thing, okay? And that is actually about Eris and Regulus and what's going on there in the sky, okay? I was actually brought to my attention by Thor News, who's one of my commenters. I guess I can call you a friend, in one of his videos. I watched his video and he mentioned that Eris was in an aspect to the solar eclipse, okay? And I don't normally look up like special points and asteroids and things like that when I do my horoscopes, but I can, and I will if I feel like there's a need or there's something else going on that it might be relevant to. So I went ahead and I looked some of that up, and I just wanted to offer my thoughts on that because Eris is in an aspect to the eclipse, more or less. It's about 5 degrees off of Uranus, okay, and Uranus is definitely going to be in an exact trine to the solar eclipse, of course. And then we've got Regulus, which is a fixed star. It's the brightest star in the constellation of Leo, which is in 2 degrees of the eclipse at 0 degrees Virgo, okay? So I wanted to talk about that really quick to just share some of my thoughts with you, okay? With Eris, where it is, okay, Eris, from what I understand, is a planet behind Pluto, okay? It's like even further away from us. Although I think Astro.com classifies it as an asteroid, and Eris can symbolize fighting for what you want, for what you believe, for what you value, you know, wanting to get yours, you know, you got yours, when am I gonna get mine, you know, and like really trying to fight to get what you want, all right? And I think that there's an opportunity to do that at this time with Eris in a sextile with the south node and a trine with the north node, okay? And almost exactly, all right? So I can see how you want to fight, how you want to move forward, how you want to get what you need in some way and to fight for it in whatever way, okay? I think now can actually be a really good time with that, using some fuel from the past to move forward with what's going on, okay? The problem that I see with all of this though is Regulus, where Regulus is on the other side of this at the eclipse going on here. And Regulus to me, fixed stars just in general to me are a lot harder for me to interpret. I'm less willing to be more forgiving of fixed stars, I guess. I tend to interpret them more harshly and not always in the best way. And Regulus to me can be a little bit difficult when it's in such a close aspect to everything, because Regulus wants big glory and big gains and wants to fight and will do what it takes to get there. And a lot of times Regulus, when you do fight, you can get the gains, you can get the wins, you know, you can get the glory when it comes to Regulus, okay? Which makes it feel like fighting right now for what you want is positive and it's going to get you to where you want to go. But the problem with Regulus is that when you fight for these big gains in a really, really big way, you also face very big losses as a result of these big gains that you got. They very rarely last, and when they fall apart in a huge way, okay? And so I think that that's kind of a problem. What's going on right now is that everyone is trying to fight for what you want, you know? If you're not getting what you want, to really push for it, you know, to speak about it from a personal level. I think there's a lot of times in my life where I'm just trying to fight really hard against whatever's going on in my life to have what I want, you know? It's like I've been dealing with so much stuff for the past 8 months. When am I gonna have what I want and what I need, you know? And really getting kind of frustrated with everything and doing all that. And I think that can be like a really easy thing that can happen at this time, and I think you need to be careful with how you're fighting and how you're rebelling to make sure that whatever you're doing isn't going to cause more damage in the long term, okay? Isn't going to hurt your progress, that you aren't going to have to deal with some of the fallout later, you know? It's good to want things, it's good to move forward, but you got to make sure you're doing it in the right ways, especially with Regulus involved here, okay? Because there can be a big tendency to be overzealous and to lose kind of the message in the first place of what it is that you were fighting for, okay? I think that's happening. Another thing that I think is kind of interesting that was brought to my attention by another astrologer who's one of my favorites, who I watch, also mentioned, pointed out that the North and the South nodes, okay? And I've mentioned this before, but we've got the North node in Leo and we've got the South node in Aquarius, okay? And so we need to move away from the Aquarius thing where the South node is. Wherever the South node is, and it changes signs every year and a half, we need to move away from. And Aquarius is a sign of rebellion, okay? And Uranus rules Aquarius, and Eris is within 5 degrees of Uranus, okay? And so what that means is we need to move away from the Aquarius, Uranus, Eris thing, okay? Which is rebellion, which is, you know, trying to fight for the rights of the people, you know, letting the people rise again. And I love that sentiment. I've got an 11th house moon, okay? I get Aquarius energy, I get it, you know, but now is not the time for you to fight and to rise up to get what you want, okay? Now is the time for you to do the Leo thing and to be a leader, even if it means you have to go alone, and to set the vision, okay? And to show people what the future could be like. If you're trying to tear things down instead of building something new up in another way, it's not gonna work as well, okay? I think that's the message that I'm trying to get across here, is that it's important to, you know, to fight for what you want, but you gotta make sure you do it in the right ways, and you gotta make sure that you have the right strategies, okay? And doing things on purpose, doing things intentionally, even if you have to go it alone and plan for it in ways that are a little bit hard, is gonna yield better results than rebelling, okay? And I just wanted to get that across to some people here, is that maybe you're feeling like you need to fight, you need to rebel against your life, about the people in your life, about where your life is going, so that you can get some big things. I think you need to temper yourself so that you don't fight too much to get what it is that you want, okay? And that you begin to lead your own path forward and show the way for other people, even if it's not quite what you want, okay? So that's what I wanted to say there. I hope the message got across. My mind has been fuzzy this whole week. I think it's a Mercury retrograde thing. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.